Hello world, welcome to another exclusive tutorial. Today's tutorial is just going to be a mesh with a little bit of love in it. It's so simple to make, so let's get started, guys. So first of all, you need a 4.0 hook and any yarn that you prefer, or you can even use a bigger hook if you prefer. Okay, so first of all, you make your chain, and this time the chain you measure from your left hip to your right hip, so you chain according to that size. So I'm making this for a medium sized person, so I think this one is okay. So next you're going to work on the mesh. You chain 3, then you skip 3, right? So you double crochet into the third, into the third stitch hole. You chain 3, you skip 3, and in the fourth you have your double crochet. You chain 3, you skip 3, in the fourth you make your double crochet. You can chain 2 and skip 2 and make a double crochet. You can chain 4 and skip, depending on how wide you want your mesh to be. So with this one we are just making the mesh. So you chain 3 and you skip 3. If you chain 2, you skip 2. If you chain 1, you skip 1. Okay, so that's how we make meshes. So at the end, this is what you have. Let's move on to the next row. The next row, you chain 5 and you turn your work. So in the next stitch hole, you make a double crochet right on top of the previous double crochet that you made. Okay, so let's chain our 5. You turn our work, then you have your first double crochet. You chain 5, then we make a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Sorry, you chain 3. You chain 3. It's only at the edges that you chain 5 to turn your work. Okay, so you chain 3 and you make a double crochet right on top of the previous double crochet. You chain 3. So you are doing this so we get to the end of our work, and when you get to the end, you make sure you make your double crochet at the tip, right? So you chain 5, and you turn your work. So on the third row, we are going to create a love stitch over there. So we'll have our double first mesh. We have the next. So in the third mesh hole, that's where you're going to create our love. So you double crochet twice and to wait for the first row. You have 2 double crochet into the mesh, then you chain 1 and you have your double crochet on top of the mesh. Next, you're going to chain 3, then you have your double crochet. So you're doing this till we get to the end. Then you chain 5 and you turn your work, and when we get to where we've started developing our love stitch, I'll show you what to do. So you chain 5, you turn your work. So let's do the meshes so we get to where we started developing something. So when you get to this side, you have a double crochet and another double crochet, okay, into that space. Then you have another double crochet onto the previous double crochet that you made. Then the last, you make a double crochet on the mesh double crochet. Then you have another double crochet twice. Okay, so you get something like this. You chain, then you have a double crochet. You chain 3, then the last you have your double crochet. Then you chain your 5 again, you turn your work. right. So you are done with yes, so you have your double crochet on the first stitch. Then in the next you are going to have fill that mesh hole. You are trying to create the love, so we have a double crochet in that mesh hole that you have. Then on top of the previous double crochet, we make our double crochets until we get to the other side or the end of our love stitch. Yeah, so this is the end. Then we add another double crochet to the mesh, the next mesh that you have, so you get something like this. Yes, next of all you chain 2, then you make a double crochet into the next mesh on top of the mesh, double crochet. Okay, so you do the mesh till you get there, then you chain 5 and you turn your work. Then when you get to this side, I'll show you what to do. So when you turn your work and get to that side, you will chain 1. Then in the mesh hole that you have a double crochet. So you have your double crochet into it. Yes, then on top of the previous double crochet you have your double crochets throughout. So when you get to the other side, so you're going to make a double crochet to end it. This is so simple and easy to make. Just simple. You just have to get the concept of how to create the love in your mesh, and you can create anything with it, whether you want it bigger or smaller. You can just easily do that. So this is our work. Then you chain the 3, then the last you make your double crochet. You chain 5, turn your work again. Right, so you are done with 5 rows of 4. So in the 5th row, yeah, so you have another double crochet. Then on top of the previous double crochet, we make another double crochet. We are still developing the love. You chain. Okay, so we are double crocheting till we get to the other side, where we make another double crochet into the mesh stitch hole. Okay, so this, then we'll add another double crochet into the mesh. So you have this. So on the 5th row of the love, we are now going to reduce it. Okay, but let's finish with the mesh first. So you chain 3, double crochet till we get to the end. You chain 5, then you turn your work. Right, so when we get to the side of our work on the 5th, we are going to reduce the number of double crochet that we have on the love. So you will chain 2, then you skip the first stitch hole. In the next stitch hole you make your double crochet, so you get something like this. Then you double crochet 3, 4, then 5 and 6. So after having double crochet 6 times on the love, you make a single crochet twice. or from counting your so you make a single crochet into the next 2 stitch holes that you have. It's a single crochet. Yes, then the next stitch holes will take double crochet each, so 1 double crochet into each of them. Yes, until you get to the stitch hole before the last stitch hole. Right, so you chain 3, then you have your mesh again at the last end. Yes, so our love stitch is already formed. You chain 5 and you turn your work. On the 6th row of the love mesh, you are going to skip the first stitch hole. Then in the next you make your double crochet, so you get something like this. Then in the next stitch hole you make your double crochet, in the next you make a double crochet, and in the next you make a double crochet. So when you get to where you made your single crochet, you continue by making 2 single crochet to there. Then the next stitch holes you make 1 double crochet each until you get to the stitch hole before the previous last stitch hole. Right, so this is our love. We are left with the last row to complete with this love stitch. You chain 3, then you have your double crochet onto, so you are creating the mesh again till we get to the end. Then you chain 5 and you turn your work and work on the last row. So with the last row, when you get to the love part, you chain 3, you skip, okay, then you make single crochet, make single crochet, you make single crochet. So when you get to where you made your previous single crochet, you chain 3, then you skip those single crochet. In the next stitch holes you make your single crochet, just like I'm doing. So you make your single crochets on top of the previous double crochet that you made, so you get something like this. Then you chain 3 and you complete with your mesh. Sorry. Yeah, so you complete with a double crochet and you have something like this. We are done with the love. So you are going to make 2 rows of meshes just to separate our first love stitch from the second love stitch. So let's make our meshes. So you chain 5 and you double crochet. Make sure that your double crochet is right on top of the previous double crochet. Okay, so your next double crochet is definitely going to be this place. You chain 3, then you have your double crochet. Okay, so this is our double crochet. Realize that it corresponds to each other. Then the next you're going to make, sorry, let's start again. So you make your double crochet into the first, then the next make a double crochet. Make sure it corresponds to the previous meshes that you created before you started designing the love. Okay, so you can see that it's matching now. You chain 3, then you have double crochet here. So yeah, so you chain 3, then you have it on top just like this. Yeah, so let's complete this mesh row. Then we make another mesh row, okay, just to separate our next the previous one from the next. So with our next love, you are going to start creating it from this side of our mesh, because you are trying to kind of create a kind of zigzag kind of your love can be in a straight line, but I'm trying to make it a kind of zigzag way, just to add some kind of style to my work. So you start with the same 2 double crochet into the mesh stitch hole, just like we did. You chain 1, then you make a double crochet, just like we did for the previous one. Okay, so after completing that love, you can also choose to make your third love stitch at any place that you want to, but make sure that 2 mesh rows are separating the previous love mesh from the next one. Okay, so this is actually very simple and easy to make. Very simple. You can turn it into any outfit that you want. The main thing is for you to get how we crochet love into a mesh. Right, so we'll finish with that second love, the third and the fourth and the fifth, until you get your desirable height that you want. So guys, after making 3 rows or 3 love, this is how we get, because I'm trying to kind of make it a kind of zigzag kind of love. So after making the second, the third comes at the side. Yes, so the first at the edges, the third at the edge, and maybe the second one in the middle. So I'm trying to make a kind of a zigzags. So guys, after making your after making 1 2 3 4 6 rows, 7 rows, this is what I have, because I'm making it as long as I want. It's a kind of zigzag kind of love. Of course, you can make it in any shape that you want. Just get how to create the love mesh and you're good to go. So you make 2 pieces of this with the same height. Then you join the top parts, the edges of the top parts together, just this part and this part. You just join them with your needle, or maybe you can just single crochet just to join them together. So guys, let's do that. And you can also so after joining the top part, this is what you have. You kind of created a neck hole. Yes, so this is very simple and easy. You can join the sides to make a straight dress, a long straight dress, but I prefer just to make it like this. So guys, at the end you should be getting something like this. Very simple. It's just a simple cover up. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I know you like this video. You subscribe to my channel and you comment below, and if you try it guys, I want to see it. So stay tuned for my next video. See you. Bye.